It's a surprising number. The fashion industry contributes up to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Making the problem even worse are fast fashion companies that strive to create new trends quicker, reducing their production cost and creating even more waste for the planet. Coach is a luxury fashion brand that's moving in the opposite direction and adopting sustainable business practices. I speak to Todd Kahn, the CEO of Coach. I met with Kahn in Las Vegas at the Consumer Electronics Show, the largest consumer tech conference in the world. Kahn is the CEO and brand president of Coach, known for handbags, accessories, and ready-to-wear clothing. Kahn has been with the company since 2008. Talk to me about your journey in life.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here with you. Mine is a very untraditional journey. If I really go back to my most formative days, I grew up in a family business, which was in the jewelry business. So from a very early age, I had this appreciation of dealing with customers, being in retail. And then I took a little side path and became a lawyer. And because I wasn't smart enough to know what a business degree would get you, so I figured at worst case I could hang up a shingle and be a lawyer. And I was an M&A lawyer, and then I eventually became a general counsel to an apparel company. And I eventually moved over to the business side. Interestingly, in 2000 and late 2007, Coach was looking for a new general counsel. I had been on the business side of our industry for about 8 years, trying not to be a lawyer. And I really hemmed and hawed. Coach at the time really wanted a lawyer with a lot of business experience. And what I said, and discussing it with my family, I said, if you get to play for the Yankees, you don't care what position you play. So I joined the Yankees with Coach at the time. And from 2008, January of 2008 till today, they kind of ran out of jobs. And I eventually became CEO about 4.5 years ago.
Well, we'll keep the sports analogies going. You're the coach of Coach now.
I am the coach of Coach.
A survey by McKinsey & Company found that young urban fashion consumers are actively seeking sustainable options. These shoppers are motivated by lowering greenhouse gas emissions, preserving animal habitats, and using renewable energy. Driven by trends from millennials and Gen Z shoppers, fashion brands, including Coach, are responding to demands for increased sustainability. So making that transition, I think maybe that rudimentary foundation of being a kid, watching mom and dad, the jewelry business, connecting with customers, I think that kind of has to be kind of the core of who you are, and it's a valuable trait to have as a CEO, right?
100%. It's very interesting because two major I'll say three lessons. One, the consumer centricity that you learn early on was there. That was one. Two, when you're in the jewelry business, what you do in the morning is you take all the jewelry out of a safe, you put it in display cases or in the window, and at night you do the opposite. So you have a real sense of slow-moving inventory. So that gets ingrained in you. And then finally, for what I do, Coach is now over $5 billion. We're in 60 countries. We have 16,000 employees who directly work for Coach. But people come into my office all the time and say, we want to invest in this, we want to do that. And I always ask them one fundamental question. How many handbags do we have to sell to pay for that? How many one-on-one relationships does a Coach associate have to have in our 1,000 stores to make that happen? And when you bring it down to that level and you talk about the human interaction that it takes, it rephrases things a little bit, and it makes people, it's not just ROI, it really puts things in a term that people can start responding to, and they know they're not going to come to me unless it's really going to work.
There's an interesting thing that you viewed, though, over time, I would imagine, which is evolution, the change, and people kind of don't embrace change, they approach it this way. What about the changes you've seen in the industry and also being the coach of Coach, trying to drive innovation and change?
Yeah. So there's a fabulous saying from Pablo Picasso, which says, it takes a long time to become young. And that's where we are in our evolution at Coach today. We are very, very focused on this young consumer. It's this Gen Z consumer. Actually, we're not even talking about Gen Z, we're soon talking about Gen Alpha. And it's global. And what we realize is their needs, their desires, what's important to them. It's not just about luxury. 2.5 years ago, Coach created this terminology called our brand positioning, which is expressive luxury. Expressive luxury is this idea about self-expression and about the individuality. And one of the things that we, through a lot of consumer insight, these people go from teenage to young adulthood. One of the things that is most important to them is confidence. So when they buy our product, we want to make sure they feel confident. We want to make sure that we help instill that emotion. And expressive luxury is about not just impressing. That's, of course, an attribute, but it's beyond that. So what we've seen over the years, innovation, technology, we're here at CES, AI, consumer insight, all of it is informed. We still need great design. So what I often say is our designers need to be inspired and informed by the consumer insight that the technology enables.
In 2023, Coach launched Coachtopia, what the company calls an innovation lab for transitioning to the circular economy. The project is rethinking waste by creating products from recycled, repurposed, or renewable materials. Let me ask you about something that I find really fascinating, is the shift towards sustainability. And what you're doing there, to me, I just watched a video last night about it, and it's like gobsmacking. It's not just that you're taking this step, it's really kind of really impressive artistry that you're seeing too. I mean, I was really kind of stunned at how you've taken a problem and actually turned it into something really unique.
Yeah, I think Coach and our parent company Tapestry are very committed to create new standards on sustainability. Our industry doesn't do a good job on it. We create a lot of waste. And what we realized is, a couple years ago, I said, I want to ring fence a collection in sustainability. I want to use it as a lab to learn and build ideas for Coach proper. And we focused on that, gave it to an incredible leader, and she added one other component, which is co-creation with Gen Z. And what we've learned from that is really, lots of people do sustainable ideas. They're usually little projects, okay? They aren't going to move the needle. What we're trying to do with Coachtopia and what we're announcing tomorrow with our partners Gen Phoenix is to do sustainability at scale. And when we talk about sustainability and sustainable products, it has to still meet 4 criteria. First, it has to still be stylish, which thank you for recognizing, I appreciate that. Second is the impact it has on the environment. It has to have a positive impact. Third, the price has to be comparable to what we would pay for non-sustainable products. Because what we've learned through our consumer insight, the consumer won't pay more for sustainable products. They want it, it's desirous, but it has to be price neutral. And finally, performance. The product has to perform. When we put all that together, we created Coachtopia. And Coachtopia is our beginning stage of doing sustainability at scale.
So those are a lot of different silos. How did you make it work? Because any one of them doesn't work, you've got a problem.
Exactly right. And it doesn't work when one aspect of the company is only focused on it. If product development or supply chain are the only one driving the initiative, there's no buy-in. If creative just creates on their own, but doesn't have the support of supply chain and product development, it doesn't get done. And then my job, the commercial side, has to bring it all together. And that's what we kind of focused. And one of the ways we enabled that was we took Coachtopia out of our normal product development cycle. We didn't put it on a calendar that you must deliver this bag by fall of 24, okay? We let them develop, curate, control, and then take it off cycle. And if you empower a team like that, and you find the right leader to do that, who doesn't understand the word no, it starts to work.
Well, and I think that's such an important feature of this too, because as I mentioned to me, it's artistry. But you're looking at scraps. It's just bits of material. And, I was just looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, here I am. These are scraps. What am I going to do with this? And what you guys have done is really, truly amazing to weave all of this together. And it does take, watching this video, you see it takes a lot of different people. And if you don't bring the right people together, it's not going to work.
You have to have buy-in. There's this idea of shared conscious, that when people truly understand our mission and share it, a lot of people get excited by it. And even factories who before never looked at this, literally just saw waste, ship it off, sell it to a rag manufacturer for, by the poundage, or just dump it. Now all of a sudden seeing the beauty in it. That's really engaging. And we have a new bag from Coachtopia called Alter Ego. One of our most popular bags is the Brooklyn bag. They're beautiful. The leather is subtle. It's just really phenomenal product. But it creates these scraps. We took the scraps, as you identified, and turned them into a bag simultaneous to the creation of the Brooklyn bag, called an Alter Ego bag. It's slightly cheaper, less expensive, I should say. Nothing's cheap, but less expensive. And we use that and show the beauty of how the two bags are created at the same time. We're at such beginning steps here, but I feel like we're doing something. It's not just a vanity project. It's not just my vanity project. It's not just our creative director's vanity project. Everybody in the company is engaged, and we're learning from it. And the real success is that I bring Coachtopia and Coach closer together. And in the future, there'll be Coachtopia product, but a lot of the sustainability lessons from Coachtopia will be embedded into Coach.
Coach has stores in over 20 countries, with Asia representing a growing market for the brand. So what about consumers? You're talking about it's just not mom's bag. It's you want it to be generational, and as you said, a great bag's a great bag. You want everybody buying it. Engaging consumers, getting their feedback, collaborating with them. What's the process there?
So it's a number of things. We do obviously very formal things, but the last couple of years we've done a lot more consumer insight, where we literally go into people's homes. They don't actually know what brand they're representing, and listen to them. What do they like about different brands? We go into their closets and see. It's very interesting, because if you just do a survey, you get this much information. But when you actually interact with them and do this much deeper dive, you learn so much more. I'll give you one quick example. We met a woman in Japan. Her favorite color is pink. Okay, she's a young woman. Her whole apartment was pink, pink, pink. She won't wear pink outside. Okay, it's too showy for her. So all she wears is black. But if you would have just done the survey, you would have said, bright colors, she's young. Young people need bright colors. Let's make more bright colors. You need that much more ethnographic information to get to real truth. And it changes by country. So we do a lot of work, ethnographic work, in different markets across the world.
And you travel to China quite a bit.
I do.
And tell me about that experience.
China is so dynamic. The Coach brand has been in China for over 25 years. We've operated directly since 2008. We have over 300 stores. And when I go to China every couple of months, I see something new. And what I'm really fascinated by China now is our brand positioning is so in line with the needs of the Chinese consumer. We're expressive luxury. We do not think of ourselves as pinnacle luxury. You do not need to save 3 months of salaries to buy one of our bags. That's super important to us. And, I often say China doesn't need to create 10 million millionaires next year for us to succeed. China should create 10 million people that can buy a $600 bag. And that is fundamentally different. And we're very in tune with understanding their needs. We go into homes, we talk to local markets, we have incredible brand ambassadors that are connected. And one of the things I saw recently, I was recently in China, I went to Wuxi. Wuxi is a city about 30 minutes out of Shanghai. From your smile, I think you know it.
Been there.
Okay. Most Americans do not know Wuxi. You know, it's a small city of 7 million people. Okay. The opportunity to engage in Wuxi, I was sitting in a consumer's apartment in Wuxi, listening to her aspirations, her desires, what's important to her. Incredibly interesting. So I get very energized when I go to China. Some of our most innovative concepts, particularly how we interact in China, how we have experiential retail, China is way above everyone else.
Let me finish by asking you a question. I think when you're a CEO, you have to think about success, which is bottom line. But you think a lot about sustainability. So just talk to me about aligning your own personal beliefs with your company and making that kind of a core part of what you're about.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. So, you know, I have 2 daughters. When they hope to have grandchildren, I want our world to be in a better place than it is today. I don't want our legacy of not sustaining, like using up our resources, not thinking about the future. I don't want that to be my legacy. I don't think that has never been Coach's legacy. You know, our core product is leather. Leather is one of the most sustainable products created. It gets better over time. Its longevity is not a year. It's not fast fashion. It's 20, 30 years. Today, you can go into vintage shops all over the world and see a great Coach bag that still looks amazing. So in that sense, the Coach brand and my own personal desire are very aligned. And what we're hearing from our consumers, it's important to them. And that's what we're trying to deliver.
And in the final analysis, it circles back to when you were a kid. The consumer, they're always right. You got to deliver, right?
Absolutely right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Nice speaking with you.